Good morning, everybody. This is the Public Safety Committee on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020 at 11:34 a.m. I was going to say p.m. And present today is Councilman Adam Yoder, Councilman John Mackey, Chief Mark Killian, and Chief Damon Yegan, also Josh Warfel, and our City Clerk, Janice Frank. On the agenda is Chief Hagan with a resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement between the City of Williamsport and Lycoming County. You're up, Chief.
This is the promised resolution that I've talked about several times. The county passed it in early September. It allows us to enter into an agreement, the first part of which they've already fulfilled. Several months ago, we got a new fingerprinting machine, which they paid for. And so the agreement is to have a part-time processing center that can function here in City Hall with county employees Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 8. And we have a backlog of people who need fingerprinted, and our system for charges to show up on someone's criminal history and for convictions to be updated in criminal histories, everything starts with the fingerprint. So it's a very, very important part of our process, and everyone is not able or not willing in some cases to go to Old Lycoming for that. So to have this in the city will assist us greatly. We'll be able to schedule more people, and particular people from the city who might not otherwise make the trip over to Old Lycoming. And so we're looking forward to getting it started. The county is funding not only the fingerprinting machine, but also the renovation of the room itself. And so there very likely will be additional equipment being installed for the arraignments, video arraignments of prisoners in there and things like that. So we're excited about it, and can't wait to get it started. Open to any questions.
Okay, Adam, would you like to start?
Yeah, on this looks like a pretty straightforward, good thing. Just skimming through it, it looks like some of this was a little outdated because it has Ken Osco listed as the district attorney. So I didn't know if there was any miscellaneous stuff that probably should be updated before passing this, but on the surface, this looks pretty good. Is there any? I noticed, I think it's I'm trying to find it here, section 7, funding plan. It notes that we are charging a person $300. Can you describe, I guess the any cost impacts to the city? I know this is not the finance committee, but that's the first thing that popped in my head. Are there any costs? I don't think there are, but if there are, what are they? What do they look like?
There are not, sir. That's actually the county that's charging that, and there is a central booking fund. I believe there's approximately 300,000 in that account right now. And just to add to what I said before, issues related to indemnification between the city and county. We spoke with Jill Nagy and the solicitor, and they were of the opinion that we could do a side letter with regard to the indemnification. And I've already spoke to Matt McDermott about that issue as well. And he has no problem with that. So no, we aren't charging anyone. It's all county related. And the reason why it's under Ken Osco is that's how old this was. It started. So nothing's changed to my knowledge with this. It's same plan.
Okay. No, I mean, this looks like a handy tool that we'll be able to use when it's not used by the county. Doesn't cost the city any money. Frankly, probably makes our police department more efficient. So looks like a great thing to me, and thanks for bringing it forward, Chief.
Thank
John,
you.
do you have any questions?
I guess just general question. When will this equipment be moved into City Hall?
It already was.
It already is. Okay.
Months ago. This is, we're behind on getting this through and getting it passed. Renovations are ongoing now. Streets and Parks workers are doing them right now. And the plan is to finish those as soon as possible. I would expect within the next month, the renovations will be done and this should be up. Certainly within the next 2 months, but probably within the next month.
So you've already been running this schedule then? I mean, there hasn't been any conflicts with processing of county or city prisoners?
We have the equipment in. We have not opened the part-time processing center yet. We've been using the equipment for city arrestees for months, and we're waiting for the renovations to be completed, and then we'll open the part-time processing center when they're done.
Okay.
Chief, where is this going to be? Where is this in City Hall?
The booking room where we take prisoners now and fingerprint them, that is, it's one and the same. It will become on 2 nights a week, a satellite county processing center.
Okay, and this will be time that one of our officers will be doing this?
No, ma'am, there'll be county employees, the same employees that work at the other processing center will be used over here. So they'll be able to work in 2 places. They will come in and work here, which is one of the reasons why we need to do the additional indemnification letter, because county employees will be manning it. In cases where they're in the middle of a schedule, and we bring in a priority prisoner, they will assist us by helping process if it happens to occur right in the middle of when they're working. And if it's a non-priority, then we'll wait for them to finish theirs and then go in there with ours. But it'll be county employees.
Okay. The other question that I have, I know this is an old document here, but there were a couple of questions here that probably are outdated. But on section 4, it says, will there be separate holdings for males, females, and juveniles? We don't have that, do we, at all? According to this, it says no. Is that necessary for this?
No, it's not. We have holding areas, and there are places where we don't put juveniles alone who haven't committed a high enough level offense, but we don't have separate holding areas like a prison for males and females. Typically, we try to keep them apart unless it's absolutely necessary, but we don't have separate facilities, no. Just bathrooms, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I think this is really something beneficial for everybody concerned. It's going to make it convenient for so many other people at this point, especially, I don't know how the county was running this, but to have it from 4 to 8 p.m., I think is going to be beneficial. I looked at the hours and I thought, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Any questions from anybody else? Having none, I'll take a vote.
I'll make a motion to forward this to the full body of council with a positive recommendation.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried to council on Thursday. Second on the agenda is the police quarterly reports. You're up again, Chief.
Thank you for your patience with these documents. I typically try to have them done within a month after the end of the quarter. Obviously, this has been quite a year, so we got backlogged on them. They weren't done by prior administrations, not in this form anyway. Usually crime statistics was all that you got. I thought last year I began these, and I thought it was important for council to understand, what our guys are doing and what our officers are doing. So it's a little bit more of a personal touch, but just gives you an idea of kind of the range of things that we're doing, and some of the things you're well aware of, like the K-9 program and some of the awards like Officer of the Quarter. In the first quarter, our Officer of the Quarter, as you can see, was Tyson Minier, and he obviously completed K-9 school. We had some retirements, and obviously toward the end of that quarter got hit with the worldwide pandemic. We hired an officer during that first quarter, Charles Schwab, and he was not able to make it to the academy. We got very lucky. We were able to send him and our next officer, or the last hire, Erica Smith, to an academy at Mansfield, where they're expected to graduate in November. Some of the data related to the shifts and units gives you kind of an idea of, how much stuff we have going on and how much they're responsible for. Some of these numbers change. Certainly, the numbers went down there for a couple of months right at the beginning of the pandemic with all the restrictions, but with the weather changing and getting warmer and some of the restrictions being lifted, we saw our numbers go back up to numbers that we're more familiar with. As you can see by looking at them, the night watch is very, very busy. The 4 to 12 shift, that is. They do about 50% of the work of the patrol division. And then also the range of things that our agents handle and our property and evidence guys handle. It's just, it's quite a feat. We saw, as you've heard recently, great success with the special assignments that we made to the NEU. Big success there, and we're happy with. There is a cost to that, obviously, in overtime, but we're very, very happy with the results. So it's been more than worth it to have them over there so far. And anyway, in the second quarter, Officer Stevens was our Officer of the Quarter, and he is a drug recognition expert and one of our traffic experts. DUIs, drug evaluations. He's part of the DUI task force. He's a really, really great officer, and he had a great quarter. Obviously, NSM took up a great part of our time in that second quarter, both the preparation for the event and then the execution of it. Federal, state, and local help, extraordinary job. That went really well. Like I already mentioned, we hired Officer Heath, and the one I included in that report, one of the drug cases. This is just one in that second quarter report. It gives you an idea of how much drugs are being taken off the street. And a large part of that is our guys being over there and assisting. Obviously, there's several county detectives, and they do a great job as well. But we, as you know, we sent Sergeant McGee to K-9 Academy as well, and he's back and now is in charge of the K-9 unit. And his dog Nico is doing very well. He's expected to finish his field training with our maintenance trainer soon, and be able to do street work in the very near future. Again, the night watch is, as you can tell, the busiest shift, and all the other statistics are there. So I'm open to any questions regarding those reports, if you have any.
Adam?
No questions. Thanks for putting those together, and going through them. They're really helpful, at least for me as a new council member, to not only get familiar with more of what the police department's doing, but a lot of the recognition that you're doing, which I think is great. And I think it does a really good job of highlighting a lot of the work you're doing quarter over quarter. So thanks for putting them together. I would just ask, keep them coming, and very, very helpful. So thank you very much, and thanks for the work you continue to do.
Thank you, sir.
John?
Yeah, just one thing. Now that school is back and they are separating classes, does Officer Miller, has he seen kind of have the incidents at school been kind of the same, or have they been a little bit more spaced out, or not as many? I just saw Q1, there was a total of 88 incidents that required a report to be filed. I'm just wondering how, now that the class sizes are smaller and they kind of have everybody split up, how's he been, what's his experience been like?
I've spoken to him directly. I haven't seen any stats yet because it just began, as you said. But what he's described to me sounds like a much more reduced experience up there as far as the need for incidents. I don't believe there are as many, but I haven't looked at the numbers. There's not as many students, as you said, and they're not there as much. And on the days that they're not there, he obviously works patrol. But what he's described to me is a much slower day up there, and it would seem like there is less going on. But I haven't looked at the numbers to confirm that.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, I would like to reiterate, this is really such a clear picture of what's going on in your department. The other thing that I would really like to commend you on is you don't hesitate to compliment and also give praise where your officers, where it's due. You're constantly doing that. And I think that's, to me, I find that refreshing. And also, I would assume all of the officers probably appreciate it as much to be recognized for their hard work, because this is, they're on our streets. And I mean, and in the climate that our country is in, this is not the easiest job to do anymore. And to be recognized, I think, is just commendable. And I thank you for doing that. We're hearing more and more from our citizens how pleased they are with our police department, and in so many different ways. But this just gives us such a clear picture. And thank you again for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Anything else from anybody? This is not a voting resolution or anything, but we do want to thank you very much, Chief, for all the information. Please keep us continuously updated, because I think it's important that we are informed, because as council people, we do get called. We get as many, I think, calls as you do at times, and with questions of what's going on. And it is very helpful for us to be, to me, I like to be informed of what's going on with our departments and with what's going on throughout our city. So thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is Citizens Core report from Jeff Reeder. Talked to him earlier. He has no reports. As soon as he does have something, he will be presenting it to us. Item number 4 is any related items. Does anybody have any related items to bring to the table? Yes, Mr. Yoder.
No, thanks, Councilwoman Katz. I'll just piggyback on a release that went out from the mayor this morning, offering some guidance on trick-or-treating and Halloween. I know I've gotten a lot of questions about it. So I just refer all of our constituents to the city's website and to the city's Facebook page for that guidance, and just encourage everybody to be safe, but have a good time for Halloween. I know the kids love it. My wife and I love to host trick-or-treaters, so very much looking forward to it, and thanks for the guidance.
Would you like to say the time and anything for it?
Yeah, 6 to 8 p.m. on October 31st, which is a Saturday, I believe, this year. So, and there's if you look at the press release, there's specific information about following CDC guidelines, highly encouraging and strongly recommending wearing masks, et cetera. So,
I think it's going to be an interesting holiday this year for everybody involved, be it the fire, police, and also the citizens and the kids of our community. It's a shame in a way, but we deal with what we have at this point. So anything else that anyone has to offer? Yes, Chief Killian.
I just wanted to bring up, it is on finance agenda, but I think it's important for Public Safety Committee to know. We're pretty excited. We were the recipient of a federal fire prevention and safety grant here last week. That grant is going to fund us through the first year of our Williamsport SAFE program, which is our citywide smoke alarm program I discussed briefly in the last meeting. So we received roughly $50,000 that's going to go towards the purchase of long life smoke alarms, some deaf and hard of hearing smoke alarms, some carbon monoxide alarms, all the outreach material we need. And we're going to spend the next year targeting our high risk neighborhoods. And just this morning, we were out working on some partners. We're looking to try to be hyper local this year and really partner with some of our local businesses. We want to make those smoke alarm purchases from some of our local businesses. Working with some of our local printing companies on our outreach material. So we're really excited to get this program started here within the next several weeks. So we're looking at a Fire Prevention Week kickoff, which will be about the second week of October, and probably go a little on the smaller scale through the winter months and then really ramp up in the spring. So yeah, press release went out last week and we're really excited about that grant funding to get this program moving.
That is, that's exciting. And $50,000, that's a lot of money, which is fantastic. Who applied for the grant?
I applied for that grant back in, I believe, April.
Fantastic. Chief, you've always went after the grants. You always dig them up, which I think is terrific. And I know we all appreciate what you're able to accomplish with it.
Yeah, I think it's important.
We've been going after these grants for a long time.
Yeah. And our administration and our department now, community risk reduction, kind of the holistic approach to public safety is very important. We're not just a response-based agency. We're out there on the street every day, trying to prevent issues before they occur. We're doing a PSA here for backyard broadcasting at 3:00 this afternoon. So we've got a lot in the mix, and Chief Hagan does a great job recognizing his guys. And I can't say enough about the work that our folks are doing too, aside from just the normal day-to-day responses in risk reduction community-wide.
No, I think we're all proud of our police and fire department. I know I am. So, but thank you very much. And thank you for getting this grant. This is going to be beneficial for, like you said, some of the neighborhoods that really need it at this point.
Yeah.
The other thing, how many, does this also go for businesses? Because there are some small businesses that have popped up in the outer areas of the city that I don't, are you checking into those also?
So it's kind of interesting you asked that. The business component of this is going to be part of our commercial property inspection program. So we're looking at multiple programs over the next several months. And one of those, with bringing our lieutenants back, is going to be our commercial property inspections. So the intention behind that is the codes department, when they go out and they do their inspections, they're doing rental property inspections. And a lot of our commercial properties, our businesses, I don't want to say flying under the radar, but, have potential to be missed to ensure, there's life safety components are in place. So the commercial property inspection program will be rolling out here. We're starting that process right now, but that'll be a lot more in depth over the next year. And I would also extend the invite to council or any of our elected officials. Our smoke alarm campaign will primarily be happening nights and weekends when most residents are home. We'd be happy to have some of you join us to do the door-to-door knocking and do the just to get an idea, to see what we're out there doing and interact with the community a little bit.
That's a great idea. I do have to say, the last time my business was inspected, God, it has to be like 15, 18 years ago.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
so
they were doing that, I haven't seen hide or hair of it. I don't think anybody has since.
Yeah, so our program, the commercial inspection program, will be a similar format to the way Coach does the rental property inspections on a rotating basis, over the course of about 4 years. And there's a lot of legwork involved in that we're working through right now to make sure we have all our personnel trained and prepared to do that. Part of our overall department restructuring here over the last 9 months has been really geared around getting the resources we need to be able to get out on the street and get that stuff accomplished, because that's incredibly important for not just the property owners, but people who visit those commercial occupancies, ensuring their safety. And the big component of that is, looking at nationwide statistics, small businesses, about 80% of small businesses, if they have a fire in their business, they're not going to reopen. So it's just the preventative measures to ensuring everybody's safety.
Exactly. Anything else? Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, Chief Killian, when you get that door knocking schedule situated, could you make sure you email that to all of us?
Yeah, I'll absolutely do that. Like I said, we're probably gonna kick off here in about 3 or 4 weeks in October. So through the winter, we won't be holding as aggressive of a schedule because we want to make sure we can do these on nights and weekends, and I'd rather not be doing them in the dark.
Okay.
So we will do them through the winter, probably more on a Saturday time frame. But come the spring, we're gonna hit it very hard. So yeah, we'll definitely get that information all out to you guys.
And can I wear a fire helmet?
We can arrange that. Yeah, we could arrange that. We
Thank you.
might even, if I ask the right person, we might even get you a ride in a fire truck.
Okay, thanks.
Whoa. I love
No
it.
promises, but I think we can make that happen.
Oh my God. We want pictures. Oh my God. Well, thank you guys very much. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.